The king returns.
Once upon a time, a king lived in a magnificent palace. He had a queen whose beauty was unparalleled throughout the land, and her fame spread far and wide. Yet, in the shadow of this splendor, the king's chief minister, Lord Gregory, with a sinister face and a jealous heart, secretly harbored a deep love for the queen. Lord Gregory knew well that if the secret of this love were to reach the king's ears, a harsh and immediate punishment would await him. Therefore, he kept this secret hidden in his heart, plotting day and night to overthrow the king and seize his position.
In those same days, a wise and worldly guide came to the city. He arrived not by chance, but on a personal mission of which no one was aware. Each day in the main square, he performed astonishing tricks that captivated the people. It wasn't long before the news of his deeds reached the palace. The king told Lord Gregory, "Go and see what this guide is doing and why he has come to our city." The minister went, observed him, and returned to the king with a dismissive tone. "Your Majesty, this man knows a few simple tricks and makes a living from them alone." The king, intrigued, said, "Bring him here, so we can witness his skill ourselves."
Lord Gregory brought the guide before the king. The king watched a few of his tricks, but his pride did not allow him to be impressed, and he said indifferently, "This is nothing. We have seen much greater feats." This remark wounded the guide's pride, and he said in a serious tone, "Your Majesty, ask everyone to leave the room so I can perform a deed that will amaze you forever." The king commanded it, and in a moment, only he and the guide remained in the room. The guide said, "I have the ability to exit my own body and enter the body of another living creature." The king asked with curiosity, "How is such a thing possible?" The guide replied, "Bring me a bird, and I will show you." The king ordered that a small sparrow be brought. The guide quickly choked it and threw it to the ground. In an instant, the bird came back to life, began to fly and sing, while the guide's own body lay motionless on the ground. Moments later, the sparrow became lifeless again, and the guide stood up, whole, before the king.
The king, astonished and excited, said, "Guide, you must teach me this skill. In return, I will give you anything you wish." The guide requested a jug of gold coins and also set a condition. "No one must ever know this secret, and you must not teach it to anyone else without my permission." The king agreed, and the guide taught him the hidden art. As he was leaving, he whispered, "Send the jug of gold to me in the dark of night, so that Lord Gregory does not become aware of it."
The king became so enchanted with his new skill that he neglected his royal duties. The palace halls would be empty of ministers and courtiers waiting with important matters, as the king spent hours alone in his private chambers practicing. Lord Gregory, who was always plotting to overthrow the king, became suspicious of this unusual behavior. He ordered his spies to watch the king and pay attention to the smallest details. One day, a spy returned with an incredible report. He had seen the king bring a lifeless rabbit back to life, and the king's own lifeless body had fallen in a corner of the room, only to rise again after a few minutes. It was as if his soul had left his body and returned. This terrible secret was revealed, and Lord Gregory, who now held the key to power, thought about this secret day and night. Recalling the king's private time with the guide, he understood the source of this great secret, so he secretly summoned the guide.
He told him, "I will give you anything you want. Just teach me what you taught the king." The guide, whose original mission was to marry Lord Gregory's daughter, said, "I will teach you, but only on the condition that you give me your daughter in marriage." Lord Gregory hesitated but finally agreed and told him to return the next day for a final answer. He quickly spoke with his daughter. The terrified daughter said, "Father, I will never marry this wandering guide. I will be disgraced in the eyes of the people." Lord Gregory sighed and said that he too was not pleased but did not know what to tell him. Lord Gregory's daughter told him, "Tell him if he wants me, he must bring a jug of gold coins as a dowry." The next morning, the guide brought the coins he had received from the king, taught the art to Lord Gregory, but the minister cunningly drove him out of the city.
A few days later, Lord Gregory invited the king on a private hunting trip. The king, eager for excitement, readily accepted. Near a village, they saw a magnificent stag. Lord Gregory killed the stag with an arrow. The stag fell to the ground and died. Lord Gregory said to the king with a sly look, "It's a shame for this magnificent body to be lifeless." I wish a new soul could be breathed into it to bring it back to life." The king, astonished by Lord Gregory's words, looked at him with pride. Lord Gregory continued, "Of course, I know this is a task only a wise guide can perform, not a king. Unless," and here he paused. The king, whose pride had been wounded, said before Lord Gregory could finish, "What are you saying? This art is in my hands too." Lord Gregory said with a wicked smile, "Then, Your Majesty, enter the body of this beautiful stag and show me the splendor of your art." The king eagerly left his body and entered the stag's.
The moment the king's lifeless body fell to the ground, Lord Gregory seized the opportunity, entered the king's body, and galloped to the nearby village. The villagers welcomed him with respect. Lord Gregory falsely announced that his loyal minister had died during the hunt. He then ordered the villagers to bury his body right there. The people quickly rushed and buried the lord's body. The fake king then quickly went to the palace and entered the queen's room directly. The queen ran to greet him, but the closer she got, the colder she felt. She saw the king's face but did not feel his presence. The queen backed away in fear and, despite the fake king's attempts, kept her distance from him. From that day on, the queen was consumed by sorrow and searched for a way to escape this waking nightmare.
Meanwhile, the heartbroken and disappointed guide, who was now forced to hunt birds for a living, was inspecting his traps in the forest. He was whispering under his breath, "I wish a rare bird would fall into my trap so I can present it to the king and get a good reward from him." The king, who was flying in the form of a parrot, heard this whisper. Upon hearing this, he quickly noticed a trap on the ground and understood that this was the way back to the palace. The king intentionally fell into the trap to be able to return to the palace. The fake king, still trying to win the queen's heart, bought the parrot from the guide and sent it as a gift to the queen.
The queen, who was pale with grief, showed no interest in the bird. Suddenly, the parrot spoke. "Why are you so sad and tired?" The queen, frozen in surprise, told the parrot the story of her grief and said she could no longer live with the fake king. The parrot told her to come closer and smell his feathers. The queen, in disbelief, did so and smelled the familiar scent of the king. The parrot said, "I am the king," and told her the whole story of the betrayal.
The queen and the real king devised a plan. That night, the queen kindly welcomed the fake king. She gently told him that she felt his behavior had changed and that he no longer shared the secrets of his heart with her. She was afraid this change was due to the Lord's death. The fake king quickly denied this, deceptively saying that only a deeper love for her had consumed his thoughts. The queen said with an innocent look, "If you truly love me, then share your greatest secret with me, the secret that has allowed you to become so powerful." The fake king, consumed by the pride of his victory, and believing he had finally won the queen's heart, agreed to reveal his hidden art. The queen brought a black dog into the room. The moment the fake king left the king's body to enter the dog's, the real king exited the parrot's body and reclaimed his own.
The king angrily shouted at the black dog, "You wicked traitor. Your punishment is to remain in this body, a beaten, barking dog for the rest of your miserable life."
The queen joyfully returned to the arms of her true king. The guide was summoned to the palace, rewarded for his help, and made the new chief minister. He finally married the disgraced Lord Gregory's daughter. The black dog was punished every day until it finally died, and peace returned once again to the kingdom.